Hi guys, we're going to talk about transversals. And transversals, it's a line that intersects one or more other lines. And one thing that's cool about transversal is you could literally know the measure of one angle, and you should be able to find all the angles in the transversal. Okay, all of the angles. Sorry, that's kind of a mess right there. So if you know the measure of one angle, it's just a line that intersects two other lines. Okay, so for example, transversal T, this is just the line that intersects the L and the M. So here are the angles. We have 8 angles in each transversal that is like this, that intersects two lines. So angle A is 105 degrees. So now I'm going to show you something crazy. So angle A is on a straight line with angle B. That means a straight line is 180 degrees. So to find the measure of angle B, we just subtract 105 from 180 degrees to get 75 degrees. So here, this one's 105 degrees. This is 75 degrees. All right, now you are going to notice that any angles that are exactly facing each other, even if they are all the way down on that line, they are going to be the same measure. So angle A is facing angle C, which is also 105 degrees. Angle A is also facing angle G, which is 105 degrees. Angle G is facing angle E, which is 105 degrees. All right, so you have right there 4 angles right there that are 105. Angle A, angle C, angle E, and angle G. Just by looking at vertical angles are the ones that face each other. And so you happen to know all the angles are like, if they face each other, they are the same degrees. So now we can figure out how many are 75 degrees. So angle D is facing angle B, 75 degrees. And then, even though it's all the way down here, angle H is also facing angle B, which is 75 degrees. And then angle F is also, it's facing angle H, which is 75 degrees. Okay, so you can tell that for 75 degrees, it's B, D, F, and H. Now, another cool thing is, with this transversal, also, if you were to turn it side, like if you were to turn it to the side, I wish I could show you this, rotate it. These are straight lines, which are 180 degrees, but you could also look at it where A and D are together, and they are 180 degrees. If you turn it on its side, you can see A and D also equal a straight line and is 180 degrees. Another thing is, if you have an angle right underneath, not the ones that are right underneath, but if you have one that looks the same on the next line, that's always also going to be the same measure. So you would just need to have one measure to figure out all of them on this. Now we're going to talk about corresponding angles and alternative interior and exterior angles. So you see alternate. Sorry about that. You see, this is the interior, obviously, and this is the exterior, okay? So the interior is D. They have these letters weird, but it would be C, D, E, F. The exterior would be it would be A, B, and then H and G. See, the interior is kind of protected. It's inside the blue lines. Okay, so corresponding angles we know are the same measure. They correspond to each other. So we would have corresponding angles. We've already figured out that A would be the same as C. So we have angle A, angle C, and then we know all the way down here, G is the same measure of A. It's facing it in a way. Angle G and angle E. Okay, corresponding angles are also, the second set of corresponding angles is angle B, angle D, angle F, and angle H. All right, alternate interior, okay? So alternate interior angles, they are on alternate sides, like the opposite sides, on the interior between the parallel lines. And we're going to show you really fast. So alternate interior, they are on the inside, and they are on the opposite sides. So one's up here, one's down there. So the alternate interior would be C and F, and then D and E. Okay, so alternate interior, C and F, D and E. Now the alternative exterior are going to be the ones that are on the outside of the transversal, obviously. So you have A and H, B and G. Those are the alternative exterior. Okay, so that's just some examples of what that means if they say alternate interior and alternate exterior. Okay, we can figure out the corresponding angles. We know that 1 and 3 are facing each other, 1 and angle 3. Then 2 and 4 are facing each other. They are the same measure, angle 2, angle 4. And then down here we have 5 is facing 7. So angle 5 and angle 7. And then we know that 6 and 8 are the same measure. So angle 6 and angle 8. And then, of course, we have the alternate interior, which is, interior. Sorry about that. We have these 4 and 6. Which would be the same measure. And then we have 3 and 5. There's your alternative interior. Then exterior would be 1 and 7, 2 and 8. Okay, so those are your alternative and alternative interior and exterior. So just remember, when you go to do the transversals, that you only need one measure, and then you can figure it out by straight lines. A straight line has 180 degrees. Again, on this one, we found out that A was 105 degrees, because this is mostly what you're going to practice, is just the actual degrees, like figuring out the degrees. So you can figure out by what we call vertical angles that are facing each other. They are the same measure. And then also just the fact that angles that are right next to each other on a straight line, those would make 180 degrees. You can see if you drop down one, that would be the same measure. Drop down one, that would be the same measure. And then everything's facing each other, so you could figure out what all the angles are. Now, when you go on Khan Academy for this one, I'm going to put the assignment on there twice because I want you to practice two sets of questions. They might look the same, but they're different questions. So the whole assignment would be like 14 questions instead of just 7. So when you see that on there twice, it's not a mistake. All right, so good luck.